Anyway, Jason Loucks here, founder of ForeclosureInvestingSystem.com, SecretLenders.com, 7DaySaleGuy.com, author of How to Buy Your First or Next Investment Property, even without experience. And you are watching me as I kind of check out, well, that one's sleeping, that's not going to help, but I'm checking out the vineyard. The baby grapevines are growing up. The, what do you call them? You can see the grapes? The grown-up grapevines are producing. It's going to be a banner year. We had a good cold snap here. I'm in South Florida, as always, right? So they, they don't get a ton of cold here, and this year we got a little bit more than normal, so should be a banner year for the grapevines. But I am here today to talk to you about foreclosures. Foreclosures are hot, you may have heard. And a lot of things. Yeah, there we go. Check that guy right there. Look at him go. All right. It's a second-year vine. We should get a small harvest this year. Foreclosures are hot. Foreclosures are bigger than ever. The numbers are absolutely staggering. In 2008, in the Great Recession, I guess they call it. I don't know what that means. But I guess it was a bad deal for a lot of people. We did really, really well. And I'm sorry that a lot of people didn't. But if you want to do really, really well this time around, then just hold on 1 second and I'll tell you exactly how to do it, because foreclosure investing is booming right now. Even in the lockdown states, wherever you are in the country, real estate is an essential service. It's like, food, water, shelter. Real estate is shelter. So real estate is alive and well and booming in all 50 states. I've got students closing deals all over the country, even in New York, even in New Jersey, even in California. Real estate is open. It isn't necessarily the easiest thing in the world, because you do have to have methods for finding those deals without physical contact, right? If you're in a lockdown state, if you're in one of those, greater shutdown states, look at these babies right here. Let's see if I can get you a shot. See, can you see my hand? What? Look at those grapes. It's gonna be awesome. Great year. Anyway, you have to have strategies that will work for you without a lot of physical contact, right? You got to stay, physically distant from people. But because we have been using automated online and, over the phone type systems in real estate investing for years and years and years, that's not really too difficult for us. There's a lot of industries that are hard hit. There's a lot of people who are out of work. In fact, recently, as I was saying, back in 2008, 2009, a lot of people had a really hard time of it. A lot of people really, suffered is the right word, from recession, from, the failing economy. Here's the thing about it. Sorry about the dark face, as I'm not facing into the sun anymore. But one of the things that happens is we've had over 22 million people, and way, way more than 22 million people, go unemployed, suddenly unemployed, they call it. Because basically through no fault of their own, but due to the lockdown, shutdown, whatever you want to call this, we've had tens of millions of people suddenly unemployed. The stat that I just heard last night, and I heard it on the news, so it must be true, right? Because they never exaggerate anything. But they said in 2008, 2009, there were 8.7 million suddenly unemployed people due to the recession, due to the economy, et cetera, and the last time things crashed. And this time there's 8.7 million per week. So it's phenomenally more. It's well over 30 million at this point. I don't know if the stat reflects all 30 million, because one of the things that hasn't sort of trickled down yet is the people whose jobs will become sort of undone over the next several weeks, as the people who service the 22 million unemployed, the people who are unemployed until their benefits kick in, they can't buy the things they normally could buy. So not only are we seeing more and more people unemployed, but we're seeing the effect it's going to have on the people who, they aren't directly affected. But since the now unemployed people used to be their customers, the plumbers and the electricians and everything are kind of the second wave, right? The waiters and the waitresses and everybody else were the first ones unemployed. Anyway, let me get to the point here. 8.7 million people a week are going unemployed. It's well over 30 million. And if even 1% of those people goes into foreclosure, right? They don't all own homes. They aren't all going to go into foreclosure. But if for every 1% of them that does, 1 person in 100 that doesn't bounce back from this, the foreclosure numbers are going to go up by almost 50%. when there was 22 million unemployed, for every 1% that goes into foreclosure, that's an additional 220,000 foreclosures. Now that we've got 30 million plus, right, for every 1%, that's over 300,000 foreclosures. To put things in perspective, in a strong month in a normal market, there's around 40 to 50,000 foreclosures. So for every 1%, we're going to get another 300,000. That means if even 10 or 20% of those people go into foreclosure, we're going to see 6 to 10 times the normal foreclosure rate. We're going to see foreclosures skyrocket, and it's already happening. And the only reason why we haven't, hasn't been reported by the shock news channels and all that stuff is because the government has really, leaned on lenders to not foreclose during the lockdown shutdown phase, just because they don't want a bunch of people suddenly out on the street having to look for a place to live and stuff while they're trying to, shelter in place or shelter at home or whatever they call it. So those foreclosures are already there. The demand for us as investors is already in the system. And what's happening now is the effects are finally being felt. So in addition to those, 22 million, there's another 8.7 million per week. Where's it going to stop? I don't know. Hopefully within the next few weeks as things get rolling, we kind of can assess the damage and see how many millions. But here's the bottom line. All of those people are going to need our help. As ethical real estate investors, as an ethical real estate investor, I believe real estate needs to be win-win, right? If we're helping sellers, if we're getting paid well to do it, we need to make sure it works for us. We need to make sure it works for them. I've seen tons of people who don't take that approach in real estate bomb out. I've seen lots of people who think they can scam people and get away with it, go out of business. I've seen tons of people who, and I'm not exaggerating at all when I tell you right now, one of the guys I used to know who was one of the slime balliest foreclosures investors back in 2008, 2009, is actually selling juice at Jamba Juice right now, because that's what happens when you don't believe in WinWin Solutions. So for us ethical investors, it's the biggest boom time in the history of the foreclosure business. We are seeing 6 to 10 times the opportunity already. That number's growing by the day. And as more and more people are affected by this, as more and more people get unemployed, as more and more people, even if they're not unemployed, a lot of people are not unemployed, but their income is really taking a hit. They need us as investors. And here's the best part. For us, ethical foreclosure investors, right? For those of us who believe in win-win, for those of us who know how to help people and get paid well to do it, it's the biggest boom time I've ever seen in my real estate career. And what's awesome about that is we help people and get paid very well to do it. And because of that, here's an interesting thing. Only about 19-20% of all foreclosures ever. So we hear all these stats about high volume investors buying $40 million worth of mortgages from institutional buyers. That's kind of small, actually. $1 billion worth of mortgages from Chase Bank get bought, right? And a lot of people can think, hey, the competition is really going to be tough if there's all these high volume institutional buyers, but it really isn't the case. It's actually the opposite. See, those buyers only get our leftovers. So we as ethical investors, we help people by keeping them from going into foreclosure in the first place. So for every person we help that's in pre-foreclosure, for every person that we help that's in a short sale, for everybody we help before the property goes to auction, for that 80+% of deals, they never go to REOs at all. They never get bought back by the bank. The people never get foreclosed on in the first place. And since we help them avoid foreclosure, sorry about the noise, some kind of big truck just went by in like a caravan. But because we help those people avoid foreclosure in the first place, we get the best deals, we get our pick of the best deals, and we get 4 out of 5 deals before they ever become foreclosures in the first place. So by helping people, we get the best deals. Now here's the thing. In order to be able to do that, you really do need to know more than the average investor. I've been saying this for years. If you're an average investor, please don't bother, okay? Average investors lose money. I've said that for years. If you're following the old rentals and rehabs nonsense, if you believe that you should buy properties and hold them for 30 years and that's the path to wealth, it is not going to work for you. The only reason you believe that is because a commissioned salesperson taught you that, all right? I'm not saying rentals are bad. I'm saying without a built-in income, no investment is a good investment. If your property is not earning you a paycheck, if it's a flat income and you're just hoping someday it goes up in value or someday you pay the loan down, that's not good, okay? So until you know how to get truly great deals that can provide you an income as they go up in value over time, this year, I don't know. Next year, I don't know. We don't know where the market's going to go, but we do know that if you're making a profit in this business, no matter where it goes, you're still going to be here doing deals, right? Helping people and getting paid well to do it. That's what we do as investors. And because of that, the opportunity for us is 10 times what it's ever been in the history of time before. Listen, I got students, Debbie and Alan in New York. They're getting like 12% response rates, right? People are calling saying, yes, I want to sell my house. Yes, can you help me out? At a rate we've never seen before, okay? So not only is there more opportunity, the people are more motivated than ever because they know, that's the great thing about foreclosure investing is that all the most motivated sellers of every type, ultimately, if they can't pay the bills, they end up in foreclosure. So you've got people from all walks of life now who are really suffering economically, and we can help them. And by helping them, we help ourselves, and that's what I call a win-win, all right? So if you want to know more than the average investor, if you want to know how to help people and get paid to do it, I'm going to go ahead and put a link down below the webinar I'm doing on the 5 types of foreclosure deals. Remember, only one is bank-owned. Only one is the ones that already got foreclosed on. The other 4 types of foreclosure investing mean that we help people avoid foreclosure in the first place. In other words, we're part of the solution. We fix things. We help people, and we get paid very well to do it. And I'm proud to be a foreclosure investor in that capacity, and I'd love to teach you how I do it. So I've got a webinar coming up. I'm going to go ahead and put a link down below this as soon as it gets posted. And again, if you're interested in tapping into that 6 to 10 times the normal foreclosure rate that's happening right now, on top of the fact that foreclosures were up 13% in January. I'm not sure because the February stats haven't come out yet, but I will bet you foreclosures were up in February. Most people don't understand foreclosures were already on that upward spiral. They were already going up. The foreclosure rates were already going up because the market, just was buying into it, right? So anyway, because of all that, if you're interested in becoming one of those ethical foreclosure investors, if you're interested in learning how to help people and get paid very well to do it, then I'm going to go ahead and post a link under this video where you can get on a webinar I'm doing. I'm doing it once today. I think I'm doing it once tomorrow, and I might do it again. Depends on how it turns out. But for right now, those are the only 2 I have scheduled, and I'll get you that link as soon as I can. Again, thanks very much for joining me. This is Jason Loucks from foreclosureinvestingsystem.com, from secretlenders.com, and a host of other sites. And I will talk to you soon. Thanks, guys. Now, how do I turn this sucker off, huh? Here we go.